and staying true to who you are, right? And not trying to chase running every alley, because everything is not for you.
I became a business owner by praying to God and praying to God to allow me to live the life that I want to live.
Now I was asking God, what do I do? And I got two visions, and I woke up in tears. And it was one, me cutting a ribbon to a basketball training facility and having my wife, my kids, and my friends there. And the other one was hearing everyone tell me, you have the dream, you have the corporate job, you have the life, you have, the wife, the two nice cars, the house, the picket fence, all the dog, all that crap that the world feeds us. And all I can do is see myself pushing the broom on a wood, cleaning a bar wood floor.
What's going on, guys? This is Coach Keith here with Kingdom Performance Academy. We just wrapped up our first Kingdom Kollaborative gathering where we invited coaches from all over the DFW area to come here and just share knowledge, man. So the objective of Kingdom is to be givers, to be servers, to help evolve the culture as a whole. And so it's always been our passion and our mission to have these events where we can just come and learn from each other and grow from each other. So it was very impactful. This is going to be something that we do on a consistent basis, to just figure out ways how we can just evolve the community and evolve the culture, to help inspire each other, to help just continue to fulfill our purpose here in this life, man. So hope you guys tap in, hope you guys like it. More to come.
In a second. First question is, when you guys found this location in Plano, how did you guys decipher on what equipment to start out with initially? Like, was the turf an idea initially, or was it something over time that you guys decided to do? How did you guys decide on converting the slope into like a turf area to utilize for the slope pushes? And then my second question would be like, probably more so for Keith. Being that this basketball industry is growing so much, how do you decipher which avenues you entertain? Meaning like the international route, also bringing international here, and then also you got more teams doing the AAU route, and they're trying to get on that EYBL. Some high school teams are actually trying to take their schools international now. So how do you decipher on which avenues you want to entertain and put more or invest more time into?
So the first one is, what do we need? So we knew off the bat, just from our experiences of running those facilities, right, of being in those spaces and seeing, okay, we know we need offices, because most people, they'll walk into a space like this and they're like, man, gut everything, gut the whole front half of it, we want all court. We knew how we interacted with our kids, with our parents, that we needed separation. So we knew, hey, we're gonna leave this here, this is perfect. Like, we got the offices, we got the classroom. So really the first thing is, okay, what do you have to work with? Okay, we got this, we can use this, okay, boom. And these rooms have changed over time, right? Just as you grow and as you evolve, you learn what to convert and what to keep. Going into the court space, we're seeing, okay, boom, we're looking at the spot, okay, court here, court there, court there. How do we occupy as much of the court space as possible? This is where you're gonna make your money. This is where the magic happens. So how can we get the most out of this spot? So we know we need flooring, we know we need goals, right? And we start there, right? The turf came in time because as we're training, as we're doing court rentals, as other organizations are coming in, we're like, dude, okay, we need another space to be able to move some athletes, right? So again, thinking opportunity, thinking scalability and maximizing your spot is, okay, we open up these doors every day to let, the sunlight, the airflow in. I mean, you see a parking lot, I see a field. Like, I see an opportunity right in front of us. The slope was already there. So we're like, I mean, that makes sense for it to be, a hill to me. We were already kind of running the hill without the turf. So we're like, to turf it up, makes sense, right? And so, even though it's me and Rod, 50-50 partners, there's no angel investors, there's no, nobody else, pushes the button but us, right? We've been blessed, with families, with people that we've poured into, that we've served, their kids, they've then poured back in the program. So they've, allocated funds, donations for us to get certain things like the turf, like the goals, like the floor, like the rims. And those are your biggest expenses. And so God gave us that blessing as we got in here, because we're like, okay, that's 100 racks we're looking at. Where are we gonna get the money from? You know what I mean? And you start knocking on some doors and you get the right person to answer. And so we started there. And again, like I said before, it's figuring out how to maximize everything. Like this was 2 rooms. We used to have the weights in this little corner room, and we're like, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. Okay, boom, we'll move it here. Okay, let's knock the wall down. Boom, okay, let's do that. So you're figuring it out. It's like a home. Like once you live in a home enough, you get to see how you're living. And that's what dictates what decor and what you should put where, like, as you've been in the space, because the space is gonna tell you what it needs. You don't tell the space what it needs, the space talks to you. And that's just being a creative, right? So that answers question 1. Question 2, again, it always goes back to the vision, man. And staying true to who you are, right? And not trying to chase running every alley, because everything is not for you. And so, for instance, with the AAU, when we started the AAU team, I already knew that the goal was to not be EYBL or Adidas Gauntlet. Like, are people, are you trying to be up? No, I'm not. Like, that's not the lane I'm trying to run in. Like, I'm trying to be development. That's our heart. Our heart is developing athletes. And so we may not get the top talent for these club teams to be able to compete at that level. So we're good at staying development, but we're still going to help develop the top dogs, right? On the individual level and in the academy level. So again, understanding kind of where to containerize each player to where you can meet each need without doing something that you feel like you're not led to do. I felt like you have to choose. If you notice, strong AAU programs aren't strong developers. So you can't be everything. You got to kind of pick what you want to be. And we're like, we want to be developing players. And so through traveling international and working with players, you see the need for development. So that fits right into what we do. And so as I've been traveling the last 3 years, it's funny, like it's ironic. I'm on the Bible app every day. And it's happened at least 3 times where I'm on the plane, I wake up, I get on the plane early, I open the Bible app, and it's Matthew, I don't know the verse, and it's go therefore and create disciples of all nations. Pops up. And I'm like, that's literally what's about to happen. Like, you're literally about to go and baptize these kids with my word, right? With the gifts I've given you. So God continues to remind us of what we're doing, why we're doing, and who we're doing it for, and who we're supposed to be doing it to, because everybody's not your client. That's why we can all sit in the room. There's no competition, because we're all going to serve some of the same, but also some of the different, right? And so I'm aware of that. So just always seeking him, seek ye first the kingdom of God, always seeking his will for him to show us which way to go. And again, he'll let you know. He'll know, nah, this ain't it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So we've always kept that spiritual piece intact.
Like, sports is competition. Having a facility and other facilities is competition, but we've never focused on competing against other facilities. We've always stayed in our lane and our focus and built what we've built and how we built it, not by looking at what someone else is doing on social media, not by, trying to categorize ourselves or pattern ourselves off of something somebody else is doing. That just hasn't been anything that we've, ever sought to do. Mm-hmm. It's always been, we consider ourselves the trailblazers. Just like when we got this facility, I said, watch, Keith, because I'm not on social media. Keith is on social media. I said, watch, when you start posting this facility, people are going to start popping up, converting warehouse spaces into facilities. And that's what happened, But, we consider ourselves trailblazers. We consider ourselves trailblazers in this collaborative, because not everybody is going to try to help others or inspire others for fear of competition. You know what I mean? They're just not going to do it. But if we understand and learn that if we work together, everybody can grow, everybody can develop, everybody can get better. And that's the whole point. It's that simple. It's not difficult. It's not hard.
You talk a little bit about the college space, right? And that's something that I thought about in my plight of like, man, okay, building an entrepreneur route. you start thinking about, okay, what does it look like to go, do you want to be an elite high school coach? Do you want to do college? Do you want to go pro? And God keeps confirming just through conversations with other gentlemen of like, nah, that's not it for you. Like, that's not going to work for where God is taking you. So for you, kind of, what was the deciding factor for you to say, you know what? I know you mentioned like the money and different stuff. What was like the deep rooted reason for you to be like, you know what, man, this is just not it. Like, I don't see it anymore. Like, I see something different.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was being newly married and us, okay, like looking down, we want to start having kids and stuff. And like, I had moved like 4 years in a row. And it's like, do we want to keep living that type of life where we got to move over and over and, you know, have the, you know, not a ton of stability within men's college basketball? And it's like, I want, you know, like with a business, like I mentioned before, like having alignment with who I'm bringing in. It's like, I'm going to have alignment and just work with people who really want to get better. And I think there's been a lot of purpose and just, it makes me like you've talked about, like, you know, when you're looking at the clock, it's like, it makes me like, okay, like I want to look forward to every day. Like, I don't want to look like, I got to go deal with this guy, or I got to go deal with these tasks. Like, it's like, I want every day. And I feel like what I've seen in the business is that's one of the best things that's been about that, is like, all the tasks you're doing is like, you're choosing to do them. Right. So like, I sure hope you want to do those things, because you're choosing the life you want to do. Obviously there's, you know, tedious things you got to do with the business still, but overall, like, it's value task that's driving the business and driving your purpose. I think in the college, and even, you know, experiencing now a lot in the high school too, it's like, there's so much extra added stuff to what you want to do as your purpose on top of that, versus, you know, just doing all the things that give you that life and give you that passion. Right. So that's what I mean, and that's, you know, even like listening to this talk and that's thinking a lot too, like, there's a lot of that's hard coming back into this job now and not working for myself at the high school, of having a lot of the extra stuff back again and not getting to have complete control over what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and who I'm working with. Which I think there's a time and place to try and work with people who don't necessarily just want it all, and like trying to impact them and bring them along there. But I think that's one of the best things about business, is getting to have that alignment with exactly who you want to work with and the type of people and environments you want to be in. Yeah.
You know, Keith was a coach for 4 years, 8 years. Yeah.
No, don't cheat me on
for 8 years. And, you know, and we did this business. I was Ubering while he was coaching at, was it John Paul?
No, John Paul for a year, then International Leadership at Texas.
Yeah, so when Uber first started, I started Ubering and was Ubering while we were at the other facility, and then we were training in the evening time. And then once we got this facility, that's when I stepped out and went full time. And then we said, okay, when it's time, Keith, you're going to come full time. So my advice is to continue with your brand and with your business, as well as, because you got to feed your family. You have to, that coaching job, utilize that for that, as well as networking and growing your circle and still growing and developing and deciding, hey, my next step, I want to do this, I want to add this, I don't want to have this, this still is development. Yeah. and a time to grow for when you make that step to move to go away from the coaching job.
Yeah. But kind of like, and the reason why I emphasize learning, because even in a place where you don't want to be, there's something to still gain from that, for sure. Right? Like, and so I'm thinking about my years at the school, you know, were the good years, bad years, you know, I mean, probably half and half, you know, especially after COVID, you know, things got really, really weird, you know, and I still think about, like, you learn so much just how to deal in these situations. You learn the language of education, right? And to go back to what Sean was saying, you know, it was like, how did you know, like, the internet, how did you know that was it? A part of it was being in that environment. And I didn't really choose that environment chose me. Like, they headhunted me when I was at John Paul. And so I'm at this school that they're saying, it's international kids, it's dorms, and I'm just like, this is the second year, it's open, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? And in that environment, you're around international kids, you're seeing the vibe, you're learning the language, you're seeing how things are flowing. And you're like, well, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, all right, God, like you got me in this position to show me something. So now we just take this same information and the same energy and we go do it ourselves, right? Because we're already, in the race, we're already doing it to us on a certain level. You can add that service right on in and continue to build.
So I guess I have like 2 questions. The first one is, how do you balance innovation with stability in your business? So like, kind of like, I remember that used to be an IV room, but now it's a podcast room. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all seen all the podcasts growing and you're like, okay, how do we do this? But not like lose, like you said, my purpose or my goals in a sense. And the second part is, how important is it to make sure your team comes from different backgrounds?
With the IV room, that was, I'm gonna say 80% of us wanting to help Wanda, who is related to Keith. She was a nurse practitioner. She's a nurse practitioner, and her husband started the IV business. And so we as business owners wanted to help her with her business. So we allowed them to rent that room as an IV room, use it as the IV room. So I said 80%, 20% was us getting rent for them renting the room, as well as then also being able to promote that service within our facility, with it being health and wellness. So, but initially it was, hey, come in, start your business, we'll help you grow it, we'll promote it, we'll cater to it, we'll and also use it. So that was us, once again, wanting to help, somebody else with their business,
Yeah, and I think to add on to what Coach Rod is saying is, like, we've always been like in the business of partnerships. Like, we don't want to do everything ourselves. Like, that was never our mentality. This is going to be our spot. We do everything. Like, no, we've always been welcoming. But the other side of that is them wanting to partner with us. Like, we feel like just because you're renting a space doesn't really make us partners in a sense. Like, yeah, you're paying your rent, that's one thing, but a partnership is us figuring out ways how to truly generate more revenue and grow each other, right? Like, we share clients, like you provide services, we get business, so on and so forth, and that was always our heart, but they have to also reciprocate that same energy.
As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have to be a marketer, you have to be a salesperson, and then you have to perform the service. And so you've got to be out there. You have to be in the forefront and market and talk to people.
Mm-hmm. He calls me out the blue. We work with a mutual player, Manny, who's playing for the OKC Blue G League team. And Manny's kind of in the middle, like talking to him and talking to hearing what he's got going on, talking to us, hearing what we got going on. And he kind of bridged the gap without us even knowing. And Eric called me and was like, man, I'm going through something, and I won't tell too much of it. I want him to tell his own story, but pretty much like, I need something different. I need another spot. And I was like, I don't even pray like that. And I'm like, man, I was like, I was praying last night too, of like, God, like, how do we move to the next phase? Like, we have this blessing, but I feel like we haven't. There's still more. And I know I drive Rod crazy with this Rod, like, keep you always something, there's always more to do something. And I was like, because I just feel it, like, there's something else we could, I'm not trying to put too much, pimp my ride on a car, like, it's gotta look good, it's gotta make sense. But when I'm in this space, I'm just like, I still feel like there's more we can do. Not more that we can add. We don't have to have Wagyu beef, and we ain't gotta have all this stuff going on. It all needs to make sense in what we're providing, right? Keeping the main thing. But how do we maximize these main things, right? Like, we got 5 containers, but they're all at about 30%. Like, how do we get one up to 70? How do we get this? How do we push the needle a little bit more to be able to really maximize the blessings that he's given us? So I always pray, and God's put that on my heart, and we connected, and he's been really helping us get more different types of athletes in here. Because here we are, basketball specific, he does strength for everybody. So I don't know if y'all know this, but this is like volleyball hub. We're around 5 volleyball facilities that we really can't service because we're a basketball skills facility. He can. because he trains everybody. So now what he's bringing to the table is that expertise and that experience of him working with volleyball players, working with all athletes, that now we can come under our umbrella of Kingdom Performance so that we can grow in a different way, right? So I think just being open-hearted, open-minded, and really having these conversations and allowing God to lead it from there. But we're about giving everybody opportunity, and they usually either weed themselves out or they stay for a long time and really get everything that God has for them.
For Wells Fargo, that's my day gig. I've been doing it for a long time. I've had that same thought in the sense of I'm bringing someone in. You think about technology, and you're like, why do I want? Someone's like, why do you keep bringing these people in that know this kind of tech? We have that coming out of our ears, right? And it's like because they love the work. Because when I talk to them, they look me in the eye and they can articulate what they need to say. I don't care if they all know the same thing. Guess what? The last 10 guys that I hired that could do that said, hey, but I want to learn more. Hey, have you thought about doing this way? Even though I've been doing it the same way for a long time. And a lot of them, honestly, same kind of people, right? Same education, come from the same just type of environment. Not a lot of dudes like myself. I grew up, my dad left when I was 4. I have 4 sisters. We'd have a nickel to rub together, right? 3 of the 5 of us got college degrees. My sisters that didn't. One is very entrepreneurial. She does great for herself. She's don't have money flying everywhere, but guess what? Her bills are always paid. She got the biggest smile on her face every time you see her. She grinded it out, right? My mom always taught us, and I tell my boys, learn to love the work. So as they got to be around people who love the work, their fingerprint's different, right? Their story's different, right? But if I created a safe space for them, took them face value, honestly, man, I don't got to work very hard these days because those are the guys. They stand up to business. I tell them all the time, I work for you. I know at the end of the day, like, we have our corporate structures and all that crap, but if they're like, man, I haven't been able to get up, or I see them and I'm like, bro, I've seen you online, because they work all over the world. I have teams in London, India, all over the US. And I'm just like, I see you online all the time. When was the last time you went to one of your kids' sports games? When was the last time you took your wife to dinner? Oh, well, don't worry about the project. The work will be there. And the next person will be like, yo, I'll pick it up, go do something, right? Those kind of people you'll realize in conversation. Those are the people who love the work, who are going to do the work, but at the same time, their character shows. God shows you their light when you talk to them. You're like, man, this is the kind of person that I know that if I'm running low on energy that day, that's gonna be the next person. So just understand the light, right? And I know you see it. If you work with kids, you work with people. You know, some days you come across someone and they just shine a little different. You don't know how to explain it. They just do, right? That would be my biggest advice. As someone who's given thousands of interviews, traveled all over the place, had an opportunity to just be around all types of people. Like, it's hard. One of the hardest things with what I do, and as I started to have career success, as I got more engaged and involved in any of the churches that I've been at, as I've moved, I look up, man, I don't see a lot of people that look like me. You know, I know a lot of people that are almost the exact opposite of me, right? So I make it a point to not ever, quote unquote, hold that against people, because there was a time in my life that I did. Right? You come up, someone grows up, they have a ton of bread, they feel like they've had everything handed to them, and you're like, man, you don't know that. You don't know my struggle. You don't know what I had to do to get here. But then I get to spend some real time with them and get to talk with them, and honestly look past all that. And then I realized, man, like, I was taking away a blessing God was trying to give me by not seeing their shine, and what I can learn from them, versus being upset for no reason other than being short-sighted. So that's, you know, I don't mean to jump in, but that's my biggest piece of advice. I have to get going pretty soon because I have a 5 a.m. phone call that I got to deal with.
I got a 5 a.m. too, man.
But what I will say to all of you, thank you all so very much for tonight. Just the conversation. There was a lot of affirmation that came here. I loved hearing a lot of some of the conversations that I felt like I've had internally with my small circle. Hearing you all, you know, Bloomy talking about your wife and the team aspect, and Keith, you taking to mention a moment that hear you guys talking about don't let it be your time, let it be God's time. Because trust me, I do have people in my life that are like, what are you doing, man? You got like everything the world's ever told you that you want. You got, again, you know, I didn't have my first bedroom until, like bed, I slept on the couch and my clothes folded under the bed till I was a sophomore in high school. It was the first time I had we just didn't have a spot. And the only way we got a house is because everyone in the house got a job. And it was like, Mom, we're gonna be able to pay this mortgage. Everybody was working. You know, I didn't get to sit down and have meals with my family. Everyone was running to Jack in the Box, McDonald's, wherever we could get a gig, right? Like everyone was trying to hustle. But they're like, well, what are you thinking? And I'm like, you know what? Because I have been praying on this, thinking about it, sleeping on it. People I keep coming in contact with. And I told my wife, it was probably about 2 months ago. I was like, God, what do I do? And it was just a constant thing. Well, what do I do? I don't understand, right? And I talked earlier about my kids. You know, Blooming, you talked about training, and y'all talked about training kids. My 9-year-old, I don't know what he's gonna do sports-wise, but that kid is just built different. And I know a lot of people say that, but my kid won't even touch a soda. Barely will drink Gatorade. He's like, no, Dad, I drink water. Can we make sure we have vegetables today? I want to have grilled chicken. I need to have my body right. I was like, bro, you're a 9. You know, but that's just who he is. Now my other son, he's athletic, but he's like, give me a Dr. Pepper. Can I eat some more Cheetos? How many Oreos can I eat today? Yeah. You know that. But you see those things, and as I continue to look around, where I'm at in Wiley and where kind of more towards Levon is where I live. Every time I try to talk to someone who has something like this, they have zero interest. And maybe because they think my kids are too little, they think it's unimpactful, maybe they just don't think I'm serious. I don't know, right? So I keep asking God, what do I do? What do I do? And in coaching different sports, like I mentioned earlier, people are asking me, hey, do you do privates? Hey, I'm watching your kids play baseball. I'm watching your kid throw a football. Do you? And I'm like, man, it's just me being a dad. Like, because I didn't have one. I'm showing up the best way that I know how to for my kids. And what I don't know, I train myself on. So now I was asking God, what do I do? And I got 2 visions, and I woke up in tears. And it was one, me cutting a ribbon to a basketball training facility and having my wife, my kids, and my friends there. And the other one was hearing everyone tell me, you have the dream, you have the corporate job, you have the life, you have, you know, the wife, the 2 nice cars, the house, the picket fence, all the dog, all that crap that the world feeds us. And all I can do is see myself pushing the broom on a wood, cleaning up a hardwood floor. You know, and you think about it, and it's so different. Because right now I could walk out of here and do nothing, and I promise you I'm still going to have a good life. God has trusted me with the brain to understand technology and being able to implement it in ways that, at least right now I tell myself, I'm helping the world protect their kids, protect their money so they can protect their families. That's what my purpose is right now, right, or what I'm doing. But as I continue to get into this, and I have these fears, right, and I have the devil, which is my childhood, telling me, you ain't built like that, you can't do that. But every time I look up, I have good people reaffirming me in ways that say, yeah, I can. So don't be afraid, trust God, take the lead, right? So before I jumped out, I just want to say thank you all for your time. Thank you all for doing this. Hope to see you guys again in a month. I wish you guys all nothing but blessings for y'all's path, and for tonight, thank you. So y'all have a good one. I appreciate it.
I need to get your number.